Welcome, travelers, to a city that stands as a modern oasis at the heart of the ancient Silk Road. This is a place of sprawling parks, grand avenues, and a dazzling, art-filled metro system. A city that blends Soviet-era monumentality with a vibrant, reawakened Central Asian identity. This is Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan. Our journey today is driven by a powerful and intriguing question. In a world where capital cities are synonymous with high costs and a frantic pace of life, what is it like to live in what might be the cheapest capital in all of Central Asia? We are here to explore the claim that Tashkent offers a quality of life, rich in culture, cuisine, and community, for a fraction of the cost of its regional neighbors and global counterparts. Is it possible that this hidden gem offers the ultimate urban paradox, a thriving, modern metropolis that is genuinely affordable? To understand Tashkent in 2025, one must look beyond the common perceptions of Central Asia. This is not a city frozen in time. While it is the gateway to the legendary Silk Road wonders of Samarkand and Bukhara, Tashkent has its own unique story. Devastated by a massive earthquake in 1966, it was rebuilt as a model Soviet city, a testament to the friendship of the Soviet republics. This legacy is visible in its wide, tree-lined streets, its imposing brutalist architecture, and its grand public spaces. Yet since Uzbekistan's independence, the city has been on a journey of rediscovery, reclaiming its Uzbek and Islamic heritage while embracing a new era of modern development. In this documentary, we will immerse ourselves in the daily life of this dynamic capital. We will navigate the bustling, sensory overload of Chorsu Bazaar, where centuries of commerce feel alive and well. We will stand in the shadow of the great conqueror at Amir Timur Square and explore the city's stunningly ornate metro stations, each a subterranean work of art. We will dive deep into the cost of living, breaking down the real prices of housing, food, and transport to understand the economics of this affordable lifestyle. We will taste the rich, hearty flavors of Uzbek cuisine, from sizzling kebabs to the national dish, plov, and experience the legendary hospitality that defines the Uzbek people. Join us as we explore the highlights of this often overlooked capital, from its ancient roots to its modern pulse. Prepare to see Tashkent not just as a stopover, but as a destination in its own right. A city of surprising beauty, deep culture, and remarkable value. This is a journey to uncover Central Asia's best-kept secret. This is life in Tashkent. To walk through Tashkent is to walk through a city of fascinating and dramatic contrasts. It is a place where the grandeur of Soviet planning meets the intimate chaos of a traditional mahalla, where monumental modern buildings stand just a short distance from ancient, blue-domed mosques. Understanding this unique urban landscape is key to understanding the daily life and character of Uzbekistan's capital. The dominant feature of Tashkent's layout is a direct result of the devastating 1966 earthquake. The city that rose from the rubble was a Soviet masterclass in urban planning. Wide, multi-lane avenues, designed for military parades and a future filled with cars, slice through the city. These are flanked by vast green spaces and parks, giving Tashkent a surprisingly open and leafy feel, earning it the nickname the Stone Flower. Along these avenues, you find the classic architecture of the era, imposing government buildings, stark concrete apartment blocks, panelkas, and grand public squares. The most prominent of these is Amir Timur Square, the symbolic center of the modern city. Here, a commanding statue of the great 14th century conqueror, Amir Timur, Tamerlane, sits astride his horse, surrounded by grand buildings like the iconic Hotel Uzbekistan, a magnificent example of Soviet modernist architecture. This part of the city feels orderly, spacious, and monumental, a reflection of a planned top-down vision. But to find the true, historic heart of Tashkent, you must venture into the old city, into the labyrinthine network of mahallas. A mahalla is a traditional, self-governing neighborhood, a community built around a mosque, a tea house, chaikhana, and a local council. Here, the wide avenues give way to narrow, winding, unpaved alleys. The imposing apartment blocks are replaced by single-story, mud brick houses built around private, hidden courtyards. Life in the mahalla is communal and deeply traditional. Neighbors know each other, children play freely in the quiet lanes, and the air is filled with the smell of baking naan, bread, from a tandir, clay oven. To step into a mahalla is to step back in time, to experience a way of life that has endured for centuries, a world away from the formal grandeur of the city center. The spiritual and commercial heart of the old city is the Hastimam complex. This beautifully restored square is home to some of the most important Islamic monuments in Tashkent, including the Telya Sheikh Mosque and the Muyi Mubarak Library. It is in this library that what is claimed to be the world's oldest Quran, the Uthman Quran, is housed. The serene atmosphere, the intricate tile work, and the quiet devotion of the visitors here offer a powerful connection to Uzbekistan's deep Islamic heritage. From the spiritual heart, we move to the commercial soul, Chorsu Bazaar. Located under a giant green-domed structure that looks like something out of a science fiction film, Chorsu is one of the oldest and largest markets in Central Asia. It is a vibrant, chaotic, and utterly captivating assault on the senses. The air is thick with the aroma of spices, freshly baked bread, and sizzling kebabs. Mountains of colorful produce, juicy melons, red pomegranates, and sun-dried apricots are piled high. In the meat section, butchers expertly carve sides of beef and lamb. In the dairy aisles, you can find katik, a type of yogurt, and kort, dried salty cheese balls. The bazaar is a place of constant negotiation, a lively dance of commerce, where vendors call out to customers and prices are haggled over with good humor. It is here that you can feel the true pulse of the city, a place where the traditions of the Silk Road are alive and well. Connecting these disparate parts of the city is perhaps Tashkent's most beautiful and surprising feature, its metro system. Built in 1977, it was the first metro in Central Asia. But this is no ordinary subway. Each station is a unique, subterranean work of art, designed by prominent artists and architects to celebrate a particular theme. The Kosmonautler station is a futuristic, deep blue tribute to Soviet cosmonauts, with portraits of figures like Yuri Gagarin and Valentina Tereshkova. The Alisher Navoy station is a breathtaking homage to the great Uzbek poet, with ornate archways and intricate panels depicting scenes from his work. For decades, photography was forbidden in the metro, but now it has become one of the city's main attractions. To travel on the Tashkent Metro is not just a means of transport, it is a journey through an underground art gallery, a testament to a time when even public infrastructure was built with artistic grandeur. This city of contrasts, of Soviet avenues and ancient mahallas, of grand squares and bustling bazaars, all linked by a stunning metro, is what makes Tashkent a truly unique and unforgettable urban experience. The allure of a capital city often comes with a significant financial barrier, but Tashkent in 2025 presents a striking and compelling exception to this rule. The central claim of our documentary is that this is Central Asia's cheapest capital city, a place where a high quality of urban life is remarkably affordable. To verify this, we must now take a deep dive into the day-to-day costs of living, from housing and food to transport and entertainment, and explore the economic factors that make this affordable lifestyle possible. The cornerstone of any budget is housing, and it is here that Tashkent's value proposition becomes immediately clear. Compared to other regional capitals like Almaty in Kazakhstan, or even more distant counterparts like Tbilisi in Georgia, The cost of renting an apartment in Tashkent is significantly lower. In the city center, close to major landmarks and metro stations, it is possible to rent a clean, spacious, Soviet-era apartment for a fraction of what a similar location would cost in most other capital cities. While new, modern apartment complexes are being built and command higher prices, the vast stock of older, well-maintained housing keeps the overall market incredibly affordable. For a digital nomad, an expatriate teacher, or a long-term traveler, this low cost of entry for comfortable housing is a game changer. Daily expenses, particularly food, further solidify Tashkent's reputation for affordability. The fertile lands of Uzbekistan produce an abundance of high-quality, fresh produce, and this is reflected in the prices at local bazaars. A trip to Chorsu Bazaar is not just a cultural experience, it is an exercise in budget-friendly shopping. A kilogram of ripe, flavorful tomatoes, a large sweet melon, or a bag of fresh herbs costs very little. The staple of Uzbek life, the circular naan bread, is baked fresh throughout the day and is sold for a nominal price. This access to cheap, fresh ingredients means that cooking at home is extremely economical. Eating out is equally budget-friendly. Tashkent's culinary scene offers incredible value at every level. A quick, satisfying lunch can be had for a pittance. A samsa, a flaky pastry filled with meat or pumpkin, bought from a street vendor, or a plate of manti, steamed dumplings, at a simple local cafe can cost less than a cup of coffee in a Western city. Even a full, celebratory meal at a mid-range restaurant is surprisingly affordable. A large platter of sizzling kebabs, shashlik, a fresh salad, a pot of green tea and bread can be shared among friends for a very modest sum. The national dish, plov, a hearty and delicious rice pilaf with meat, carrots, and chickpeas, is often cooked in giant kazans, cauldrons, and served in generous portions for a low price. This affordability means that eating out is not a luxury. It is a regular and accessible part of social life. Transportation is another area where the costs are minimal. The Tashkent Metro, besides being an architectural marvel, is an incredibly cheap and efficient way to get around the city. A single token or QR code ticket costs just a few cents, making unlimited travel for a day a negligible expense. Above ground, a comprehensive network of buses and marshrutkas, shared taxis, covers the rest of the city for similarly low fares. Ride-sharing apps like the popular Yandex Go are also widely used and offer private, door-to-door service for prices that are astonishingly low by international standards. It is entirely possible to live a full and active life in this sprawling city without ever needing to own a car. So, what are the economic reasons behind this remarkable affordability? A key factor is the Uzbek som, the national currency. For many years, the currency was tightly controlled, but recent economic reforms have liberalized it. While this has led to some inflation, the som still offers significant purchasing power for those earning in foreign currencies like the US dollar or the euro. Secondly, local wages, while gradually increasing, remain low compared to global standards, which keeps the cost of labor and services down. Finally, the country is largely self-sufficient in food production, which insulates it from the high cost of imported goods that affects many other nations. In 2025, Tashkent offers a rare and attractive economic equation. It is a city undergoing rapid modernization, with new cafes, restaurants, and shopping centers opening regularly. It is clean, safe, and rich in culture. Yet, it has managed to retain a cost of living that feels like a throwback to a different era. For anyone seeking an authentic, engaging, and comfortable urban experience without the financial strain, Tashkent is not just a hidden gem. It is a smart and compelling choice, a true testament to the idea that a rich life does not require a great fortune. To truly understand the soul of Tashkent, one must experience its culture through its food and its people. Uzbek cuisine is not just about sustenance. It is a cornerstone of the national identity, a celebration of community, and the primary vehicle for the country's legendary hospitality. The flavors are rich, hearty, and deeply satisfying, a culinary tradition shaped by centuries of life on the Silk Road, blending influences from Persian, Turkic, and Russian cultures. At the undisputed heart of Uzbek cuisine is plov, also known as osh. This is more than just a dish, it is a cultural phenomenon. The national dish of Uzbekistan, plov, is a masterful rice pilaf, slow-cooked in a giant cast-iron cauldron called a kazan. The basic ingredients are rice, meat, usually lamb or beef, grated yellow carrots, and onions, all simmered in a rich broth. But there are countless regional variations, with additions like chickpeas, raisins, or whole heads of garlic. Plov is the food of celebration, served at weddings, holidays, and important gatherings. It is also a dish of community, traditionally cooked by men, often in vast quantities, to be shared. In Tashkent, you can visit the Central Asian Plov Center, a massive complex dedicated to the dish, where you can watch master chefs, oshpaz, at work, stirring enormous kazans of plov over open fires. To be invited to share plov in an Uzbek home is a sign of great respect and friendship. Bread or naan holds a sacred place in Uzbek culture. It is more than just a food item. It is a symbol of life and hospitality. The round, flat loaves are baked in a tandir, a traditional clay oven, which gives them a unique texture, crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. Each loaf is stamped with an intricate pattern using a tool called a chekic. There are strict traditions surrounding naan. It is never to be placed upside down, and it should be broken by hand, never cut with a knife. To see a baker skillfully slapping the dough onto the searing hot walls of a tandir at Chorsu Bazaar is to witness an ancient and respected craft. The sizzle and aroma of shashlik are an integral part of the Tashkent streetscape. These are succulent kebabs, typically made from marinated cubes of lamb, beef, or chicken grilled over hot coals. They are often served with thinly sliced raw onions and a sprinkle of herbs. Shashlik is the perfect fast food, a delicious and satisfying meal that can be enjoyed at a simple roadside stall or a more formal restaurant. Beyond these iconic dishes, the cuisine is rich and varied. Manti are large, steamed dumplings filled with spiced meat and onions, often served with a dollop of sour cream or katik, yogurt. Samsa are savory pastries, similar to samosas, baked in a tandir and filled with meat, pumpkin, or potatoes. Lagman is a hearty noodle soup with meat and vegetables, a dish that shows a clear influence from the Uyghur culture to the east. The meals are almost always accompanied by fresh salads known as achichuk, typically made with thinly sliced tomatoes, onions, and herbs, providing a fresh, sharp contrast to the rich, fatty meats. No meal in Uzbekistan is complete without tea. Green tea, kok choy, is the national drink, a symbol of hospitality that is offered to every guest upon entering a home or a chaikhana tea house. It is served in small, handleless bowls called pialas. There is a ritual to pouring the tea. The host will pour the first cup back into the teapot 3 times to ensure it is perfectly brewed before serving it to the guests. The chaikhana is a cornerstone of social life, a place where men gather to talk for hours, conduct business, and play backgammon, all over a seemingly endless supply of green tea. This culture of food and tea is the primary expression of Uzbekistan's most cherished tradition, its hospitality. The Uzbek people are famously warm, generous, and welcoming to foreigners. To be a guest, mehman, in an Uzbek home is to be treated with the utmost honor and respect. You will be seated in the most comfortable place and offered the very best food and drink the family has. This tradition is deeply ingrained, a legacy of the Silk Road, where travelers on long, arduous journeys relied on the kindness of strangers. In 2025, in a world that can often feel rushed and impersonal, the genuine warmth and open-hearted generosity of the people of Tashkent is perhaps the city's most valuable and unforgettable treasure. While Tashkent's identity is deeply rooted in its ancient traditions and Soviet past, the city in 2025 is a place of dynamic change and forward momentum. A wave of economic and social reforms has swept through the country, and nowhere is this transformation more visible than in the capital. A new generation is coming of age, blending a proud Uzbek identity with a global outlook, creating a modern lifestyle that is unique to this Central Asian metropolis. The most visible signs of this modernization are found in the city's rapidly changing skyline. Gleaming new business centers, luxury hotels, and modern residential complexes are rising alongside the old Soviet-era buildings. The Tashkent City International Business Center is the flagship project of this new era, a sprawling complex of skyscrapers, a high-end shopping mall, a convention center, and a vast, beautifully landscaped park complete with musical fountains and an artificial lake. This development is a bold statement of intent, a symbol of Uzbekistan's ambition to attract foreign investment and position itself as a modern regional hub. This new construction is creating a city of even greater contrasts, where you can now see a futuristic glass tower reflecting the image of a decades-old concrete apartment block. This modernization is also changing the social fabric of the city. A vibrant cafe culture has taken root, with trendy Western-style coffee shops opening up across the city center. Here you can see young Tashkenters, the Tashkent youth, sipping lattes, working on their laptops, and socializing. They are fashion-conscious, tech-savvy, and connected to the world through social media. They listen to global music artists, but are also fiercely proud of their own Uzbek culture. This generation is navigating a new world of opportunities that were unavailable to their parents. They are starting their own businesses, working in the burgeoning IT sector, and engaging with the world in unprecedented ways. Yet even amidst this rapid change, the fundamental rhythm of life retains a distinctly Uzbek character. The pace of life is generally more relaxed than in other major capitals. There is a strong emphasis on family and community. Evenings and weekends are often spent in the city's numerous parks, which are a central part of public life. Families gather for picnics, couples stroll along the tree-lined paths, and children play in the fountains. This appreciation for simple communal leisure is a cherished aspect of the Tashkent lifestyle. One of the most remarkable aspects of modern Tashkent is how it has preserved and even enhanced its Soviet-era infrastructure. The prime example is the Tashkent Metro. For decades, this stunning underground system was a restricted military strategic object, where photography was strictly forbidden. In a sign of the new openness, this ban was lifted in 2018. Overnight, the metro was transformed from a mere transportation system into one of the city's premier tourist attractions and a source of immense civic pride. Residents and tourists alike now freely photograph the magnificent stations, sharing their beauty with the world. The metro is not just a relic of the past. It is a fully functional, efficient, and incredibly cheap part of the modern city, a testament to the quality of its original construction. The path forward for Tashkent is not without its challenges. The rapid development brings with it the risk of losing the city's unique character, as older historic buildings are sometimes demolished to make way for new projects. There is an ongoing debate about how to balance the need for modernization with the preservation of the city's heritage. The economic reforms have also brought inflation, which can impact the cost of living for local residents whose wages may not be keeping pace. However, the overwhelming feeling in Tashkent in 2025 is one of optimism. The new openness has unleashed a wave of creative and entrepreneurial energy. There is a palpable sense of a city and a country that is reawakening and reclaiming its place in the world. The modern lifestyle in Tashkent is a unique blend of old and new, of drinking green tea in a traditional chai-khana and sipping a cappuccino in a trendy cafe, of haggling for produce in a bustling bazaar and shopping in a modern mall, of living in a Soviet-era apartment block while watching a new skyscraper rise outside the window. It is this fascinating fusion that makes Tashkent one of the most dynamic and interesting cities in Central Asia today. While Tashkent is the modern beating heart of Uzbekistan, it is also the gateway to a world of almost mythical beauty, the legendary cities of the Silk Road. To truly understand why Uzbekistan is Central Asia's hidden gem, one must journey beyond the capital. Thanks to a modern, high-speed train network, these ancient jewels are now just a few hours away, making Tashkent the perfect base for exploring a history that has captivated the imagination of travelers for centuries. Our first stop is the most magnificent of them all, Samarkand. The name itself evokes images of grandeur and romance. Samarkand is a city that was once the center of the world, the glittering capital of Amir Timur's vast empire. To stand in the Rajasthan Square is to be humbled by one of the most breathtaking architectural ensembles on the planet. Flanked by three immense and exquisitely decorated madrasas, Ulugh Beg, Sheridor, and Tilya Kori, the square is a symphony of azure, turquoise, and gold. The scale is monumental, the intricate tilework mesmerizing. Every surface is covered in geometric patterns, floral motifs, and masterful calligraphy. Beyond the Rajasthan, the city is filled with wonders. The colossal Bibi Khanum Mosque, the stunning Shah-e-Zinda Avenue of mausoleums with their dazzling blue domes, and the Guri Amir, the final resting place of Timur himself. Samarkand is not just a city, it is a statement, a testament to a time of immense power, wealth, and artistic genius. From Samarkand, we travel deeper into the desert to a city that feels more intimate, more spiritual, Bukhara. While Samarkand is about overwhelming grandeur, Bukhara is about atmosphere. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, its historic center is a beautifully preserved labyrinth of narrow alleys, ancient mosques, and bustling trading domes that have been in continuous use for centuries. The heart of the city is the Poi Kalyan complex, dominated by the towering Kalyan minaret. For centuries, this Tower of Death served as a beacon for caravans crossing the desert. Today, it stands as a symbol of the city's enduring spirit. Life in Bukhara revolves around the Liabi House, a tranquil plaza built around a stone pool, shaded by ancient mulberry trees. Here, locals and travelers gather at chaikhanas, sipping green tea and watching the world go by. Bukhara feels like a living, breathing city of the Silk Road, a place where the past is not just preserved, but is an integral part of the present. Our final journey takes us to the most remote and perfectly preserved of the Silk Road cities, Khiva. Located in the middle of the Kizilkum Desert, Khiva's old city, known as Ichan Kala, is a fortress-like open-air museum. To enter through its massive mud brick gates is to be transported completely into another era. Within the walls, you find a compact world of mosques, minarets, madrasas, and palaces, all rendered in stunning shades of turquoise and sand. The unfinished Kalta Minor minaret, a thick, stumpy tower covered in brilliant blue tiles, is one of its most iconic sights. Unlike Samarkand and Bukhara, where modern life has grown around the historic centers, Ichan Kala feels almost entirely like a historical exhibit. To wander its car-free, sandy lanes at sunrise or sunset, when the tour groups have gone and the city is bathed in a soft golden light, is a truly magical experience. This brief journey to the Silk Road jewels reveals the true depth of Uzbekistan's treasures. Tashkent, with its affordability and modern comforts, serves as the perfect entry point to this world of ancient wonder. It is the comfortable modern hub from which you can launch your own adventures into the heart of Central Asian history, making the entire country an accessible and unforgettable destination. To understand Tashkent and modern Uzbekistan is to understand the profound and complex legacy of the Soviet Union. For over 70 years, Uzbekistan was a Soviet socialist republic, a period that fundamentally reshaped its society, its economy, and even its landscape. This legacy is a double-edged sword, a story of monumental achievements and devastating tragedies, the echoes of which are still felt strongly in 20,000. 25. The most visible and often celebrated part of this legacy is found in Tashkent's architecture and infrastructure. The city, as we know it today, is a product of Soviet urban planning. The architectural style known as brutalism, with its bold geometric forms and exposed concrete, is prominent throughout the city. While often dismissed in the West, buildings like the iconic Hotel Uzbekistan are now being re-evaluated as masterpieces of Soviet modernism. They represent a period of utopian ambition and architectural confidence. This era also gave Tashkent its magnificent metro system, a project driven not just by practical need, but by ideological purpose, to showcase the artistic and engineering prowess of the Soviet state. This ambition extended beyond the Earth itself. The Soviet obsession with the space race is immortalized in Tashkent's Cosmonauts metro station. Its deep blue futuristic design and ceramic portraits of cosmonauts like Yuri Gagarin and Valentina Tereshkova are a direct link to a time when the USSR was a global superpower, pushing the boundaries of human exploration. For Uzbekistan, which was home to the Baikonur Cosmodrome, now in Kazakhstan, but central to the Soviet space program, this was a source of immense pride and a symbol of being part of a grand scientific project. However, the Soviet legacy has a much darker, more tragic side. The Soviet system's relentless focus on centralized production targets, with little regard for the environment, led to one of the worst man-made ecological disasters in human history: the destruction of the Aral Sea. Once the fourth largest lake in the world, the Aral Sea was a vast inland ocean, teeming with life and supporting a thriving fishing industry. In the 1960s, Soviet planners decided to turn the arid lands of Central Asia into the world's largest cotton producer. To do this, they diverted the two great rivers that fed the Aral Sea, the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya, to irrigate immense cotton plantations. The consequences were catastrophic and swift. Starved of its water source, the Aral Sea began to shrink dramatically. Over the decades, it has lost more than 90% of its volume. The once bustling fishing towns, like Moynak in western Uzbekistan, are now landlocked, their fishing boats rusting in a vast, toxic desert of sand and salt known as the Aralkum. The exposed seabed, contaminated with decades of agricultural pesticides and chemicals, is picked up by the wind, creating devastating salt storms that poison the land and cause severe health problems for the local population. The story of the Aral Sea is a heartbreaking and cautionary tale. It is a stark reminder of the hubris of a system that sought to conquer nature rather than coexist with it. For Uzbekistan, it is a deep and painful wound, a complex problem that the independent nation has inherited and is now struggling to mitigate with international help. This dual legacy, the grandeur of the Tashkent Metro on one hand, and the tragedy of the Aral Sea on the other, is essential to understanding the modern Uzbek psyche. It explains a certain nostalgia for the stability and grand projects of the Soviet era, while also fueling a fierce pride in national independence and a determination to forge a new path. It is a complex inheritance of both monumental creation and devastating destruction, a past that Tashkent and Uzbekistan are still learning to reconcile as they build their future. As our time in Tashkent and our journey through Uzbekistan comes to an end, we are left with a clear and compelling answer to the question that brought us here. Is Tashkent Central Asia's cheapest capital city? The evidence is overwhelming. From the remarkably low cost of housing and transport to the incredible value found in its bustling bazaars and delicious restaurants, Tashkent offers a quality of urban life that is almost unmatched in its affordability. But to label it merely as cheap is to do this city and this country a profound disservice. It is a description that captures the price of things, but not their value. The true value of Uzbekistan lies in its surprising and multi-layered beauty. It is in the breathtaking subterranean art gallery of the Tashkent Metro, a legacy of Soviet ambition. It is in the awe-inspiring grandeur of Samarkand's Registan Square and the quiet spiritual atmosphere of Bukhara's ancient alleys. It is in the vibrant sensory feast of Chorsu Bazaar, a place where the spirit of the Silk Road feels vibrantly alive. But it is also in the heartbreaking, silent expanse of the Aral Sea Desert, a powerful reminder of the complexities of history. The country's greatest treasure, however, is its people. In a world that often feels increasingly divided and fast-paced, the genuine warmth, open-hearted hospitality, and unhurried grace of the Uzbek people are a powerful reminder of the importance of human connection. The tradition of welcoming a guest with honor and respect is not just a custom, it is the very essence of the nation's soul. In 2025, Uzbekistan is a country at a thrilling crossroads. It is a place that is confidently embracing the future, with gleaming new skyscrapers and a dynamic, globally connected youth, while also cherishing its rich history and grappling with its complex Soviet legacy. It is reawakening, opening up to the world, and inviting visitors to discover the wonders that have been hidden in plain sight for so long. So, while you may come to Tashkent for its affordability, you will leave with a richness of experience that is priceless. You will leave with memories of stunning architecture, delicious food, and a culture that values community and kindness. Tashkent is the perfect, comfortable gateway to a land of ancient wonders. It is without a doubt Central Asia's hidden gem, a country that doesn't just offer a cheap way to live, but a rich way to live. And that is a discovery worth traveling the world for.